What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Weekly Watchlist, where we bring you the three top companies this week that we think could be the best use of your capital. First off, we're going to be talking about Slack Technologies. So some of you may have heard of this one, but it's basically a startup, and why we're looking at it is because we think it could have huge upside. What they do is they basically are a workplace collaboration platform. So basically, they are trying to get rid of the need for people and companies to email each other and text each other. So if I go to their website, which we don't do often on the channel, but I just want you guys to see how this works, they basically give you channels, direct messages, projects, let you file share, video share, call coworkers even, and message anyone who you want to message within the company, obviously. The reason why this is such a big deal is because we're seeing an increase from the work at home orders from many companies to get involved online. So we can see this one taking off long term. Some of the points that we like are that this company consistently has been growing revenues year after year after year. They're a company who's not afraid to take a big risk and be unprofitable. And when I say that, they're using all their excess cash right now to grow revenues by marketing. So there is one huge contender in the space that could be taking away market share from Slack, and we'll get into that later. But first, I want to go over their 5-year graph. As you can see, this is a fairly new IPO that started in 2019, guys, and it has tanked ever since because people just don't see the potential in it yet, and we haven't had a real need for online business, right? So as moving forward, we can see that even though this company is unprofitable, they're still at a small market cap, right? So $14 billion market cap. They have a huge growth potential ahead of them. Even though since their IPO date they have tanked, it is only because the company is still unprofitable. Usually when we see companies turn a profit, everybody wants to jump on the bandwagon, but it's already late, guys. It's too late. We think you should be getting in now, and we think now is the buying opportunity for Slack. There's a huge market for this. As we've seen, Microsoft has taken a notice, as I mentioned before, and they've taken a notice big because they have developed something called Microsoft Teams to compete with Slack. We think there's a huge market for this, and even if Slack takes the second position to Microsoft, which we think will ultimately happen because Microsoft is a huge company, there is still huge upside, guys. There is huge room to win because there's only two companies really competing in this space right now. We're not seeing much competition at all.
Yeah, you were talking about how it's there's a lot of untapped potential, but over 750,000 companies already use Slack. And as the word gets out, it's kind of like a forest fire, with once it starts, like word catches, companies are going to start using it. You're saying that it hasn't been profitable yet, but they are spending a lot of money just trying to scale their business and trying to reach out. And sorry?
It's working too.
Yeah. Obviously, if they have 750,000 companies using their stuff. So they're really trying to just like use that capital now to help them in the long run. And honestly, like Vasily and I haven't really talked about this, but I was just thinking one of these things that they could do is kind of use this at schools, like different universities.
Oh, yeah.
Because I know for myself and also Vasily that some of the programs and stuff that the school uses just aren't good.
Not great.
And they're always crashing. They never do what you actually want them to do. They're not clear. They're not specific. So maybe I'll write them an email, tell them that's what they need to do. Maybe they'll take my advice. Maybe they'll hire me. But we'll see what happens. But if they can get into the different universities, which are obviously making billions of dollars a year, just schools themselves, like public universities, I feel like they could make a lot of money in that space too if that's something that they decide to go down. But that's it for the first one. We're going to get on to our second company here, and we're going to look at Starbucks. For a second play this week, I kind of jumped the gun, told you what it was. It's Starbucks. And you've probably never heard of this company because who's heard of Starbucks except for every person who loves a pumpkin spice latte? And that is something that they trademark and that I don't know if they trademark it, but they always talk about it every fall. Everyone comes around. Everyone's so excited for a pumpkin spice latte. I don't know why. I hate them, but everyone else loves them. So coffee is a $90 billion industry, and Starbucks makes up 40% of that.
Yeah.
Those numbers just don't make any sense. Like, how can a company hold that much stake in an industry worldwide? I don't understand how they do it, but obviously they're doing something right. Another thing that they've been big on is their green initiative, trying to get rid of straws, trying to save it's the sea turtles, big things like that. Something is just like, it really just gets people talking about them. That's another thing that I feel like they're really good at. People are always posting pictures about Starbucks, their coffee. They're always posting things on social media. They're all over the place. It's like they're doing their own advertising for free just because of some of the stuff that they bring out. But aside from some of the other things like that, some of the marketing and things that you see all over the place, they actually have 15,000 stores in the U.S. and 28,000 stores worldwide, which is a lot. I mean, you're going to see them everywhere. And by the end of this quarter, because of everything that's been going on, 96% of their stores are already operational and improving, because every company had a hit. They were struggling over the past few months, but Starbucks is already back almost to full capacity, like very close. And they're ready to move forward and hopefully make us some money. So it's going to give us some of the other specifics, and we're going to keep running through Starbucks.
Oh, yeah, guys. We wouldn't recommend anything unless we fully believe in it. So, I mean, no different with Starbucks. Everybody knows them. They're here to smack Dunkin' Donuts. We're not Dunkin' Donuts type of guys here on the channel. In China, let's talk about their growth opportunities over there. 4,400 locations, 300 of which added this year. Crazy. During the pandemic. Nobody's slowing down Starbucks. 200 more locations in China they're planning to add before the end of the year. They are steamrolling everybody, guys. They're just going to keep winning. Do not bet against Starbucks. Do not. Do not buy Dunkin'. I am Dunkin' hater. Dunkin' hater. They will not stop growing, guys. And I'm just trying to get you a slice of the pie here. Think about it this way. What did you say? How many stores do we have in the U.S.?
In the U.S., 15,000.
They only have 4,400 currently in China. Last time I checked, China has a lot more people than us.
Over 1 billion. Over 1 billion more than the U.S.
I'm no rocket scientist, but that seems like a big market opportunity to me. And there's a lot of people who have not felt pumpkin spice, all right? They're down to clown with the pumpkin spice, all right? Guys, forward PE on this one, 34. What does forward PE mean? You guys only talk about regular PE most of the time. Basically, analysts are saying that by this time next year, the current price of Starbucks, you will have paid 34 times price to earnings. So even though, as you can see down here, it says 79 PE currently, based off what they're making currently. Next year, if you would have bought today, you would have technically bought at 34 times price to earnings. That's how much growth they're expecting from this company, guys. That is insane. And they even offer a dividend of 1.9% quarterly. I mean, this one, no-brainer. If you buy into any coffee company and you don't buy Starbucks, I'm going to be scratching my head at you. I don't know what to tell you. I don't really know what to tell you. But with that being said, I think that pretty much sums it up. I'll pull up the 5-year in case you guys are interested before the pandemic right here. It's gonna grow you pretty consistently. It's not gonna be anything that's gonna be a skyrocket play, but you really can't go wrong with it, guys. It's not gonna be a big time loser for it.
Exactly. The only big loser on this channel is Vasily, so you don't have to worry about Starbucks today. But on to our next play, we're going to talk about Activision Blizzard. There's always a lot of hype around releases of games whenever it comes to this industry in general. Companies are gonna the stock price is gonna rise before big game title releases, and then whenever that gets good backlash, it doesn't get backlash, it gets good reviews, the stock price stays that way. So what we're looking right now with Blizzard is we're seeing a lot of good growth, especially around the release date of these new consoles, who are what are actually increasing like everything that we're seeing as far as marketability and all this different stuff. It's just expanding the market incredibly. We're supposed to see double-digit growth all the way to 2027 with 214 million current players in the U.S. alone. That's not talking about what they have going on overseas, which they also have a big market in. But what we're looking at here, we have the new consoles I was speaking about. Excuse me. They so there's a PlayStation 5, and then there's a new Xbox, and PCs are also going to be able to run these games. But the thing that I was thinking of is they're going to be able to sell this on both platforms. So they do it by generation. So they have the old Xbox, they got the new one, the old PlayStation, the new one. But whenever the year of the release for the new generation of these consoles normally happens, they normally sell it on both platforms because not everyone buys the new one right away, but they still buy the games. So you're going to see people buying it on both platforms. You're going to see big growth out of these companies, all these gaming companies, especially with big titles. And as well as those extra sales going on the new and old consoles, the prices of games are also going up from $60 to $70, at least in the U.S. I know they're going up in other places, but I don't know how the prices work with different currencies and stuff. But the prices are being raised, so they're going to be making a little bit more money off of that. But they don't really make all their money off of just selling the game. Nowadays, companies like Activision Blizzard are making a lot of money off of microtransactions. Mm-hmm. So if you don't know what that is, it's just if you're playing the game, you want something cool, something new that they release, you pay $10, you pay $20 for it, and you have it in the game. And you'd be surprised how many people like to buy microtransactions just to have all these cool different things to show off to their friends.
Like little game add-ons.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of crazy. Vasily and I have both been susceptible to this. I'm sure we've both made some microtransactions in our day. But other than that, Activision Blizzard has two main titles that are their money makers. That's Call of Duty and World of Warcraft. Both of them are worldwide, not just in the U.S. They are big. There's tournaments for both. $250 million. Like, this is crazy stuff. People take this stuff serious. It's not just they're just playing a game on their phone. It's not like that.
Nope.
People take this very serious. They're willing to pay the money for these games. Aside from that, also Activision is coming out with an old game. They're redoing it, Tony Hawk Pro Skater, which was, if you don't really know anything about the gaming industry, I know a lot of people don't. It was a big hit back in the day, back in the early 2000s, and people are very excited. It already has great reviews for the new Tony Hawk Pro Skater game. Vasily is going to get into some of the financials for us and see why this is such a great buy.
All right, guys, and picking up where he left off with the microtransactions, it would blow you guys away to know how much they make off of microtransactions, all right? $3.36 billion off of digital purchases, not games, nothing else. Game add-ons. They're not even making a new game to get this revenue.
And that was just last year.
Just in 2019, yes. That is a good point.
Wait, let me interrupt you for just a second. With those microtransactions, you have to think about it. With a normal marketing system, a normal company, if they come out with something new, they have to pay for new materials, they have to pay for labor, they have to pay for overhead. For microtransactions, it's already in the game. Yeah. All they have to do is pay a couple of developers to code some stuff up and put it in the game. That's it. They're only paying labor, and it's minuscule compared to other companies.
Yeah, genius. Very low overhead, guys. Very low.
Exactly.
So that brings me to my next point, and it probably has helped the revenue growth because year-over-year revenue growth from last year is expected to be 38% higher. 38% higher. That's a third of the business, guys, in a year. Like, we wouldn't be recommending something if we didn't think it was taking off, and we think it's an opportune time to get in right now. Obviously, some of their biggest titles doing this, as he mentioned, Call of Duty. If you haven't heard or you don't play games, the new Modern Warfare performed very well over the last fiscal year for this company. A lot of microtransactions, okay? And they're very excited for the new release of the next Call of Duty installment. The company has decreased operating expenses for the last 3 years. Their business is getting cheaper to run over time as their revenue is growing. What does this mean? Explosive growth for shareholders, okay? This could be a home run play. I'm not going to say I'm calling it, but I may be looking to establish a position in this one, just to give you guys some inside info there. But looking again at the forward PE ratio of the company. If you guys didn't pay attention earlier, forward PE, looking forward a year, what you're paying today, a year from now, would be the PE that you would have paid. Okay? That is 24. That could signal a value buy right now. So if you're paying a premium of 34 price to earnings today, in a year, it would have technically been 24 price to earnings. So analysts are expecting significant growth in the company, which could lead to an opportune buying time. They offer a dividend. Last but not least, you know me, you know I love my dividend. It's very small, but this company, again, $77 a share. This is not too hard to rack up shares in. I mean, it's one of those middle-of-the-road prices that, you might be kind of hesitant if you can't afford a whole share. But if you can load up, you're going to get 0.50 back on your money. And that will be in the form of a quarterly dividend, guys. So here's their graphs, 3 months, month down. This is exactly why I think it's an opportune buying time, and we love the company. They have great titles. And with that being said, guys, that's going to do it for this week's episode. So we are not financial advisors. Anything in this video is obviously entertainment purposes only. We're just giving you our thoughts. And with that being said, that can wrap us up. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the content.
Absolutely.